In Consumer Corner, we take a look at trends creating a buzz online in China. On today's show, we'll find out if China's austerity measures are why pork is cheaper before the Chinese New Year, and see what Chinese internet users have to say about it. The Chinese government's austerity campaign have already affected many of the country's high-end industries, with tobacco, baijiu, and luxury car markets all seeing a downturn during the previous year. The decline is unsurprising, given that these industries have been partially sustained by Chinese officials' consumption. But it might seem far-fetched to suggest that the recent decrease in pork prices is a direct consequence of the government's austerity measures. However, it now seems this might not be such a ridiculous notion. Traditionally, pork consumption in China has risen as the Spring Festival holiday approaches, as many families like to cook pork dishes for their big New Year dinner. The considerable increase in demand for pork would also drive up prices to the highest point this year. However, the situation has completely turned on its head this year, as the prices dropped to 53 cents per pound, lower even than its break-even point. Chinese experts have estimated that pig farmers would start to lose money if the retail price of pork is less than 6 times the feed price. Market insiders explain the decline in pork prices is due to its oversupply. However, a report from 21st Century Business Herald shows that this trend has been developing over the past few years. This article cites data from the Ministry of Agriculture showing that in 2010, raising a pig would bring Chinese pig farmers more than $80 in profit. In 2011, the profit dropped to $15 per pig, and last year, raising a pig would only bring $1.30 in profit to pig farmers. The logical reason to explain such a profit plunge is that the demand for the market has shrunk. But if Chinese New Year is normally the time when pork demand is at its peak, what has caused such a drastic decline in the price? There's no reason to suggest that ordinary Chinese people are shying away from buying pork, and the lower price might even encourage them to buy more than in previous years. It seems the only explanation left is the same one that's caused a drop-off in sales of high-end tobacco, baijiu, and luxury cars. The Chinese government's austerity campaign has forbidden government officials from having extravagant banquets before Chinese New Year. The knock-on effects of these measures has caused some high-end restaurants to shut down their businesses, leading to a substantial decrease in the demand for pork. This assumption is backed up by the government's statistical data. As Money.163.com reports, during the first half of last year, over 210,000 high-end restaurants were shut down in the capital city of Beijing. Moreover, a report from the China Cuisine Association shows that during the first half of last year, China's catering industry claimed $200 billion in revenue, a 4.5% drop in comparison to the same time in 2012. In addition to high-end restaurants shutting down, the government's austerity measures are also forcing the government and state-owned enterprises to withdraw their New Year bonuses to employees. Previously, public servants and SOE employees would receive a prepaid card to be redeemed at a wide variety of stores. The withdrawal of this holiday bonus, known as gray money, is causing wealthy Chinese public servants to cut back on their spending, contributing to the drop-off in demand for pork. Well, the link between the government's austerity campaign and the decrease in pork prices has been the source of much debate on the internet. Some Weibo users agreed, with one commentator noting, quote, "It's a good thing that pork prices are dropping. Ordinary people can barely afford such high prices in China. Please let the austerity measures continue." Another one agreed, saying, quote, "Thanks to the sluggish economy and the government's austerity campaign, pork prices are finally back to normal." However, some Chinese internet users are not so happy. One Weibo user wrote, quote, "Please don't tell me corruption is the major factor boosting the country's economy." Another one wrote, quote, "It sounds like government officials are warning us, ordinary people, that cracking down on corruption would hurt China's economic development. That's funny." The relationship between pork prices and the corruption campaign isn't definite. This is just a correlation from what we know at the moment. But it wouldn't be too surprising to hear that corruption has been making one thing in China more expensive than it needs to be. Corruption in China has been closely related to the restaurant industries. That probably isn't the only explanation, since it's such a widely used meat.